Whoa, what's this? Oh my god. I won Worst Gamer Award. Oh wow. I would just like to thank my pea-sized brain for not coming up with a better cold open. You did it, buddy. Good work. Welcome back, everybody, to another Coffee Games. We're back with another one. Today is the day of the Game Awards, and I thought I would use this time just to talk about the issues behind the Game Awards. And this isn't really a subject that hasn't been said before. I know Beat 'em Ups has done it before, and he's done another one this year, but I just want to give my simple takes on the matter on this week's Coffee Games. But before we get started with my first point, hi, how you doing? You doing okay? Wow, you won the award for being okay. I hope. Welcome to the Games and Groceries channel. If you're new here, if you like video game discussions, this is the place to be. We have videos like this, Coffee Games, as well as our weekly podcast, the Games and Groceries podcast. So if you're into video game discussions, click that subscribe button and a notification bell so you know when all these videos come out. And with that said and done, let's just go on to my first point. So there's a lot of problems that go into the Game Awards, and I know there's a lot of issues behind it. But I want to start off with my main problem behind the Game Awards is the actual name of the Game Awards. And let's just start with that. In my opinion, I think the name of what we're talking about, and you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say the Game Awards. It's that first one that makes it, first word I should say, that makes it so official and so bold to say that this is the Game Awards. And it makes other Game Awards seem secondary. I mean, we're talking about Game Awards like DICE Awards, the Golden Joystick Awards. We're talking about, there's a Japan Game Awards, there's a Czech Game Awards, there's the Game Ranks Awards. Did they do it last year? I can't remember. Oh no. But I used to love just even Game Ranks' Game Awards just because Jake Baldino put on this little show. It was in front of a green screen, and we, the fans of Game Ranks, just voted on what our game of the year was, what had the best design, and we had a really significant vote on that one. But what I'm trying to get to is that the name just makes it seem like all these other ones don't really matter at all. It's just what matters for the Game Awards with Jeff Keighley's Games Awards. And what I think from that is that it just makes a monopoly of an opinion of what a game actually was. I believe it was the Golden Joystick Awards. Maybe I should have researched before I made this video. Uh-oh. The Golden Joystick Awards puts The Last of Us 2 as Game of the Year. They just announced that a couple weeks ago. And I think that it makes it seem like, oh man, maybe that'll mean the Game Awards make it Game of the Year. Or that Golden Joystick was Game of the Year with The Last of Us 2. Like, that's the opinion of that. That is the official statement of Joystick Awards, but it's not the Game Awards as some people might think. So my biggest problem is merely just the name, and I feel as if it was just called Jeff Keighley's Game Awards, it would be on the same level as Joystick Awards, DICE Awards, the BAFTAs, I believe Apple Design Game Awards, I believe that's one, but it will put them on the same level. But on the other hand, I understand why they're calling it the Game Awards for the very problem that I stated. You know, it signifies that this is the official one and people will tune in to this one because it is the Game Awards. So I get it from a business standpoint. You want to stand yourself out. You want to make sure that you are the official one that you need to tune into and that all the other ones seem secondary. I get that from a business standpoint. But at the same time, I feel as though if Jeff Keighley really wants to make gaming into a whole platform of community, he needs to be part of the community rather than outstanding of the community. And that's just me talking, you know, up to Jeff Keighley as if I have any idea of how he makes it, as if I have any idea how to put on a Game Awards show. So take all this with a grain of salt. But in my opinion, the name makes it seem as though other games don't matter. Or if your game wasn't nominated this year by the Game Awards, then it didn't matter this year. So I think people's biggest problem is the name of it. Now, going into my second point, let's actually get into the awards. If we're talking about the awards seem so official and really puts a stamp of approval on a certain game. There's certain types of awards that go on in the Game Awards that I feel like don't get a lot of love for the main reason that there's just too many of them. And I'm talking about esports. And let's talk about that for a little bit. Let's talk about the problem of the esports awards in the Game Awards. So I'm going to put on my glasses for this one because I'll be reading from the actual Game Awards site here. For this one, I think there's some valid treatment of esports. For myself, I'm not really an esports person. I don't really know too much. I don't really follow it. And that doesn't mean that I think that it's pointless. That's just not my thing. I don't really care for it. But I'm going on here and I think it's done better this year in terms of mass amount of esports, but there's a couple awards that are valid, right? Like best esports athlete. I think that's a valid award to give out, or even best esports coach. I think that's pretty valid. But then you have things like best esports events, and you started tearing away from why best esports game. Sure, it's talking about the Game Awards, and then you go into best esports host, and we're getting a little bit off, and now we're going to best esports team. We had athlete, now we have team, and then we go, oh wait, that was it. But I remember there was a time, and I know he fixed it this time, but I feel like there's still just a little bit too many esports. We can even take away best esports event or best esports coach. It's just, I feel as if we're taking acclamation into esports, making us really care for it. And I see content creators everywhere, I guess including myself at this point, of, why should I care about esports? Where am I getting my love for it? And the reason why I think the esports needed to change was because, especially last year, Jeff Keighley kind of moved right through the esports. He said, best esports moment, best esports event, best esports stadium, best esports this. And, it just kind of made us think that this is just filler. Why should we care? So esports is just a filler to us. Whereas I think that if we just make it more simplified, best esports team, I think this year it has done it a little bit better. But again, I'm not really an esports person, but my problem was before, and now as I'm recording this video, I feel like it's, changed my mind a little bit. He's only done the ones that matter, but even best esports events was just, why should we care? And I think it's just trying to get you to care, saying like, look how much there is to esports, but it's also overwhelming for us and the actual awards themselves. It makes this show that much longer. It makes us feel like, let's just get through this. I feel like if we just start with best esports athlete and best esports coach, that's fine. That gets us acclimated, it gets more people into it. And with a growing audience of esports, I understand why they want all of these in. Me and you might not care about esports, but the mass audience does. And I'm not sure where I'm going with this point, because literally as I'm just looking through this and as I'm just thinking my thoughts here, this year is actually a little bit better. So as I say, the problem of the Game Awards is the esports. In my opinion, this year they've actually done it. I think they've done a good job with just putting out athlete, team, coach, host, sure, and events. I think they've done fine this year. So I'm not sure where I went with this. Oh no. Oh, I had a whole point to make. But I'm glad they actually fixed this. I think this is a lot better this year. But, for next year, if they just keep this format, I'll be fine. And it makes us more interested in esports, and it doesn't make it feel like it's just filler, and it makes the show longer. And why are we here? Like, you're just busting through all these things. And I still remember for an esports game, we just flew right past best performance in a video game because there were so many esports. I think this year is a lot better, and I have a lot more hope for this year. So I'm looking forward to how they handle esports now. But yeah, I guess this is my changing of mind. I think the problem was just solving itself. Why don't I just go on my third point? I don't know where I went with that. Live opinions, everybody. I want to go into my last problem, which is what is for me and for you and everybody watching, which is you, I guess. But it's the problem with our expectations for the Game Awards. I think there's a lot of issue that we come across, and I think there's a lot that we expect from our games, and we expect our games to be nominated. But does that really take away the value that that game gave you? With my last point, I just want to take away what our expectations are for our games to be nominated or even not receive the win that we wanted. I still think that Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 is probably my game of the year personally because it gave me a lot of value this year. I love the Tony Hawk remaster and I'm still playing it to this day, even in its launch in September. I'm still playing it and I'm insane. My point is that Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 remaster wasn't even nominated for best sound or best music. That was it. Best music. And I even read on the little caption, even licensed tracks are in for this one. And it wasn't even nominated for that, even though it had probably one of my favorite soundtracks of this year. Hades, of course, had a fantastic soundtrack. I'm not trying to deny that. But what I'm trying to say is that did it take away from the value that I received from Tony Hawk's soundtrack? It doesn't. Or even when Tony Hawk won't get the win for best sports game this year. I don't think it will. But it was only nominated for best sports game, and I don't even think it will win that. Does that take away from the value that that game gave me? No, because it was my personal game of the year. I love that game. My point is saying there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of disputes, there's a lot of going around Twitter saying that, oh, robbery, oh, thievery. Why wasn't Tony Hawk nominated for Game of the Year? Maybe that was just me. But here's the thing is that even with all these tweets and all these things that we say that there was a robbery, that there was, I forget the word I'm looking for, but you know, you got really shafted by the Game Awards. Only you have the value that your game gave you. You can say that it is your game of the year. And even look at other Game Awards. The Game Awards is not the only Game Award. Every other Game Award is significant in its own right. The DICE Awards, the Golden Joystick Award for 2 of them. I hope GameRanks has one this year. I don't think they announced it, but that is another way to get your Game of the Year. But you personally have voted for your Game of the Year. You have voted for your best audio design. You have voted for your best creative direction of a video game for you this year. And what I'm trying to get to is that yes, a Game Award will sell copies. That's just it. And that's my final point here is that the Game Awards is just that. It's to sell copies. It's nothing more, nothing less. You stamp that on your game case. Oh, it's Game of the Year. It's going to sell copies. Just like Dragon Age Inquisition. When I was working at GameStop and it won Game of the Year, guess what? A lot more people bought Dragon Age Inquisition. It's a game seller. But as much as sales are important for a game studio, what's also important is that you reach out to the developer. You reach out to them, whether email, Twitter, Instagram. Reach out to the developer and tell them how much value that game gave you this year in 2020, how much it impacted you, how much you enjoyed yourself, how many hours you played the game. And I think that has just as much importance to them as winning Game of the Year, is to reach someone like you to say that your game impacted me, your game had an effect on me in the year 2020. And I want to thank you for that. You know, reach out to these developers. They have emails. They're not, robots, they're humans. So I'm not trying to be sappy here, but I am. But I want you to reach out to these game developers and share with them how you felt. Don't let the Game Awards define your game. Let you define the game. Let your impact define the game. And tell that to the game developers. I'm sure they'll reach right back at you and they'll say thank you. And they'll just applaud you and say, thank you for playing our game. That's just my spew about the Game Awards. But I want to hear from you. Down in the comments down below, what are your problems with the Game Awards? This is coming out the morning before the Game Awards are actually happening, so I want to hear from you. Do you have problems with the Game Awards? Do you think the esports is fixed? Do you think esports doesn't need awards? That's weird if you do, but I want you to write your thoughts in the comments down below. What are your thoughts? What are your problems? What are you hyped for in the Game Awards? Who do you hope to have in the Game Awards, or who you have winning the Game Award? I don't know, but I want your thoughts. I want to read them in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, definitely give it a like and share it with your friends, your family, or even your enemies. I want you to share it with your enemies. But until the next one, thanks for sticking around. I hope you have a safe week, and please wear your mask.